Hello. I'm not quite certain if I'm going to post this one. Um, we'll see. So I was thinking about grief and I'm very sad. I have been grieving. We put our dog down today, and I know that's different than people, but sometimes pretty close. Or sometimes it's your person. But obviously I make content about cults and high control. And just a couple days ago, I made a post about some of the patterns that I found and how the cult I was in, it's called 12 Community Church, but it was called Xenos when I was in the 90s. And so, let me explain something first, how I got the information I have. There's a survivors group. We share our experiences and stuff in the group. And then there's also a community group that's open to people who've never been in Xenos, um, that have family. There's family that want to know, or the community, if they got someone in, or if their kid's going, like, what is this place? And so for about 7 years, I've been not only reading stories from members that way, but like people inboxing me because of a family member they lost, which is very difficult, because I don't want to say, hey, they were in a cult. So I just direct them to the information, kind of let them take for themselves, like, if this is helpful or not, and let them decide. I just give the grieving space and information. I don't just answer questions and say, yes, it was this and this is what happened. I let them, and then if they have questions, then I'm here for it. Um, Sorry, I had a child I had to let know. I'm making a video, baby. I'm making a video, baby. Hold on. Can I pause that? I don't even know. Oh, okay. He's fine. He's with his friends. Probably wants pop or something. Anyway, so I have come with some patterns from discussions. Excuse me. I've even been to a few funerals or whatever. Even inside Xenos, I've been in funerals. And I found patterns from my own experience in Xenos and from other people. And the patterns that I have found about how Xenos treats the grieving and tragedy have made corporations look like saints. Because when you have a death in a family, a corporation will usually be like, they have bereavement, they have things, and they give you time off. Even you got someone who died in South Carolina. Well, you get a week off, go to the funeral, because funerals are for the living. Grief is a different kind of pain. It's something you carry and it changes you. It not only changes you, but sometimes when you're grieving, people who haven't been through it don't realize how selfish they are. Okay? That's most people don't do it on purpose. Like, a mate might be like, I just want my husband back. He won't quit, he won't move on from his mother dying, or any type of thing. People from the outside are just, they want the person back from before this new change. The heart has changed. It needs time for it. It just does. And everybody is different. And everybody grieves in a way that's, you know. And, my dad passed when I was 10 years old, and then my grandpa died, and my brother died, and my mother died. And, I've had friends who have died, close friends. So the grieving are close to my heart. It's a grieving, especially a grieving mother. I saw my grandma bury her son, which was my dad. I saw my mother bury her son, which is my brother. And I've seen friends do it too. And so when I read through the stories of people sharing that they were supposed to teach at a retreat, but they were told, hey, we needed you for this retreat teaching, and that person, they're gone. They're in heaven now. You can't save their soul, but there's all these other people you should be working for God to do. Or if they're in the church, it's, well, this person would want you to continue working for God for heavenly things and eternal salvations because that's what they wanted, right? Or there's a lot, and there's even the family them counts. I know I get on them, but that they are patient zero. Martha McCallum is patient zero, it's called, who raised Dennis. She was a Quaker. And she was a Quaker missionary. And so Dennis, I don't know what, whatever. He started his church his way, his family thing, whatever. And there's something about that family that has a very cruel, cold view of their members that need to always be worker bees, even in times of grief. So they use scripture to make people who are grieving feel like they're selfish, even putting someone as an idol. Not only that, but they say at funerals, their funerals are very much about how if Xenos runs a funeral and not the family, so Xenos runs, Xenos Dwell. If they run the funeral, the ones I've been to have been about how that person really wants you to accept Christ. They really want you to accept Christ more than the person's life and the grieving there. It's like you're being sold the gospel, which the gospel doesn't need that much. It's the good news. It's the good news. And they turn it into bad news. They turn it into, I don't know what they've done to it there, but it's not the good news there anymore, if it ever was. Funerals are for the living. I'm not going to get into stories of specific people because I want them to have their privacy. But I want people to know that how a church treats the wounded and the grieving. I know Xenos calls the wounded, they shoot their wounded. They say we're not a hospital. Yeah, that's what they say. They're not a hospital. They're right. They're not. They're absolutely not. I don't know what I'd call them, but it wouldn't be a hospital. I'd say probably cult. That'd be a better word for hospital. But I need to wrap this up, even though it's very hard. I just wanted to say the family has weird things that they say that I just know come straight from them. And one of the things I saw was at funerals, Dennis said to hit them while they're hot, or some kind of dumb, however he said it, pretty much something like that. The iron while it's hot, because the grieving are looking at death and mortality, and they see it as another way to recruit people. And so I'm going to try to wrap this up, which is very hard, but any group that treats the grieving less than a corporation would, don't worship there. They don't care about you. They care about numbers, whatever it is. Whatever it is they care more about than the grieving, than Jesus wept for, the only time he wept. Anyway, I'm kind of sad today. I hope this helps somebody. I don't know. Shame on them, honestly.